Alright, so I actually saw this movie 3 times. I saw it for the first time at the midnight premiere with 3 of my friends. I saw it again on Christmas Eve and the day after Christmas alone because I liked it so much. This is easily the movie of 2009, probably somewhere competing with The Dark Knight or any of the other top movies made in the past 10 years. This is up there with movie of the decade, and this is also possibly one of the best movies ever. Or at least I think so. So on its opening weekend, this movie made $77,025,481 just on its opening weekend, which broke box office records. This movie is directed by James Cameron, who is a great director, did such a good job with this film. You might know him from also directing the ever-famous Titanic. He was the director of True Lies, Terminator 1 and 2, Aliens, and now with Avatar. One very good thing about this movie is actually the visuals. I'm sure a lot of people will tell you this. The movie looks fantastic. James Cameron spent a great 12 years or however long he's spent working on this project to make Pandora look beautiful. It looks amazing. I mean, I really mean that from the heart. I mean, the creatures, the plant life, it's all so creative. It's original. It's nothing you've ever seen before. I saw it twice in 3D and once in 2D, and the 3D actually takes about like 10-15 minutes to getting used to, because in the beginning it really doesn't fit in, but once like Jake Sully starts exploring Pandora more, and these like floating seeds, like these little like bulb things, these floating seeds come like towards you and like all around you. It's almost like the movie is completely around you almost. I mean, it's really cool. And honestly, the 3D becomes part of the experience. I've heard good and bad things about the 3D. Honestly, it's either you like it or you don't. I personally liked it better in 3D, but everyone has their own opinion on that. Now, I have friends who've seen this movie. Actually, most of my friends have seen this movie. And the one thing that I want to bring up is some people find the plot to be a little bit cliche. One of my friends thinks that it could have been seen coming a mile away. I actually think the plot was pretty unique. I mean, Cameron was obviously sending the message that we need to preserve the environment. There was at one point in the movie where Jake Sully was chosen, and I don't want to spoil it too much, but he was chosen to be the one to lead the people in the fight against the humans, so to speak. The movie calls him as Turuk Makto, and he's talking to the soul tree, which is basically like a tree for prayers to be heard, and he's telling the soul tree, look in Grace's memory. Look at the world we come from. There's no green there. These people, they took it all. And honestly, that's really deep, because it's obviously sending a message that one day, all this green, all this rainforest that is still left on Earth won't be there. And yeah, I guess you can say the plot is somewhat like Pocahontas. It's it's pretty similar, but nowadays, what plot is completely original? I mean, this movie brings a lot of originality, and although the plot is not completely original, I mean, there are definitely some parts in the movie, like 2 or 3 parts in the movie, where you can kind of say, you know what, I bet that's how the movie's gonna end. And you know what? Yeah, that is how the movie ends. But I think the ending, first of all, is great. I left the movie in tears, but it was good tears. It was like the first movie in a long time that actually had a really good ending. And yeah, at some point in the movie you could have seen it coming. You know that's going to happen eventually. But it's just, I felt it was really deep. So to finish it off, for a rating, I would give this movie a 94 out of 100. 94 out of 100. It's a 2.5 hour long movie. There are multiple times during the movie where you can basically say, okay, is it over? But then the story continues. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just there were parts where it does drag on. I will admit it, some of my friends said that, and I'll use their words. It does drag on a little bit, but once you've seen it like more than once, you know what's going to happen, and it's just like any movie. It's worth it. Stay with it. Don't be a douchebag. Don't walk out of the movie saying, oh, I had enough of this crap. Because it gets better, and it definitely does. I mean that. It's a great movie. It's definitely worth seeing till the end of the movie. There's one character that I have to say, Quaritch, who's the colonel, as I was mentioning earlier, where you know he's going to die, and you really just want to see him die already. And he eventually does die, but he has kind of that really stone cold, like, evil colonel, don't let you do anything you want, everything is by my orders, which I guess how all colonels are, I guess, but I didn't like him too much. I thought Neytiri was a very interesting character. I mean, she starts off as being the, why are you here? Go back, you should not be here. But then she gets signs from the Navi's god, their deity, which gives her a message that Jake Sully is a very strong person at heart, and she trains him and teaches him their ways, and she becomes friendlier as the story goes on. And I liked Neytiri. One of my friends didn't, but I actually thought she was a pretty interesting character. My favorite character was actually tsu'tey. I think he had a great supporting role that provides a little bit of a twist to the Navi people. Like, if there was no tsu'tey, you'd kind of feel like these Navi people were all about peace and nature. But tsu'tey kind of gives it that little edge, that little bit of, wow, he's a warrior kind of feeling. And I don't know, I just liked him. I thought he was a really cool character. Okay, so before I go, there's actually one more thing I want to mention, and that's actually the soundtrack to this movie. The soundtrack is completely original by James Horner, and it's very tribal. It's very, you know, it's with like drums and chorus and percussion. It's very beautiful. And if you're interested in any of that stuff, I have 4 names to the songs which are actually my favorite. I'm just going to name them off. The first one is Becoming One of the People, Becoming One with Neytiri. The second one is Climbing Up Ichneumaya, The Path to Heaven. The next one is Jake's First Flight. And another really good one is Gathering All the Navi Clans for Battle. So, you know, if you're interested, just look them up on iTunes or on the soundtrack CD at a store or something. It's pretty good, so check it out. So that's my review. James Cameron's Avatar. If you haven't seen the movie yet, go see it. Double thumbs up, 2 thumbs, because it's a great movie. Definitely one of the best I've ever seen. If you have seen this movie before and you're just watching my review for the fun of it, I hope you enjoyed my review. I hope you enjoyed my review anyway. Thanks. Later.